Face Forward Media. This is Healthcare Musings. I'm your host, Dr. Hassaboluses. Welcome to Healthcare Musings, everybody. Happy to have you with me. So here's the second in the new series, Dr. H's Verbal Hassaboluses. Last week we talked about the system-based note, and it's got a lot of traction on LinkedIn, and a lot of my friends texted me, and they made them laugh, and they were agreeing with me. One of my friends said, "What does the patient have? AFib? Oh no. Oh, maybe they have COPD." And then they go down, "Oh, they have a UTI." Oh my God, it's so annoying. Stop it. Okay. And this whole thing about the system-based mode made me think about where we've come with respect to documentation in the record. When I first started, and I'm one of those, that when I started, well, I'm one of those. When I first started, it would not be uncommon for the unit secretary to be like, is that Pepsid? Is that Peptamen? Is that what it? And then I would help. I know Dr. So-and-so's handwriting. Oh, no, yeah, that's actually Pepsid 20 BID. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, my God. I mean, like, not only would the physicians not write legibly, I mean, it's a joke. It's like, do you guys have a class in medical school about poor handwriting? Not only do they not give the common courtesy of writing legibly, but it would be dangerous because you're writing medications, right? And if you don't write legibly, it's liable to get medication errors, and they happened, and I saw them. Not only in the hospital, but worse in a pharmacy when you're writing a prescription and the patient brings the written prescription to the pharmacy and they fill the wrong drug or the wrong dose. And I saw this happen in the hospital. I mean, so one thing that I pledged to do when I left medical school and residency is that I pledged to write legibly, and I kept that promise and people would compliment your notes are so legible. Because it was so abnormal for a physician to write a legible note. And I took pride in that because it's common courtesy and it's safety for the patient to write legibly, write your order legibly so that they know what medication you want, write your note legibly so that your colleagues can read what's going on in the record. So many some of them, it literally looked like waves on a, and if not, it's not because you're used to reading them. That's the only way that you can know what they're saying. That was ridiculous. So it started with computerized physician order entry, CPOE, but because at least no one's going to be guess, is this a Pepsid? Is this a chest x-ray? Is that a chest CT? It started with CPOE. And it was great. That way you can type in Pepsid 20 milligrams twice daily, and then no one will make a mistake. There's no error. Now, if you type the wrong drug, yes, but at least the mistake isn't because you can't write legibly, right? And then it moved to the electronic medical record where you have electronic notes. And I was super excited because before that, I would dictate. It was writing when I was a resident and then a fellow, and then it became dictation, where I would at least dictate the consult, but it took some time for the dictation to be transcribed and then put into the record, right? And so what I would do is when I would see it be called for a consult and I would dictate the consult, I would write my preliminary impression and plan. I would say patient seen and examined, full consult pending. I would write impression, recommendations. And then I write the number, the dictation number, the whatever the transcription number, so that they know that I dictated the consult. And then the full consult will come later. So with the advent of the electronic medical record, now I can just drop my consult right away. I was actually excited about it. And now we've come full circle with electronic medical records giving notes that say nothing. So in the beginning, notes would say nothing because you don't know what they're saying, because the docs are writing illegible notes and orders. Yeah, maybe now the orders are legible, and we've now come full circle where we have notes, 10-page, 12-page, 15-page notes that say nothing, right? All the imaging studies are dumped into the note, all the labs are dumped into the note, previous echoes are dumped into the note, and then you're like, what's happening? Then again, this like tradition where people do a SOAP note. It has to be subjective, objective assessment plan. And so for me to know what my colleague is thinking and what they're recommending, I got to go all the way down and scroll all the way down to see the assessment and plan. And a lot of times, Epic especially will do this. It'll minimize the section, so it'll minimize objective. So I'm like, okay, what did the surgeon say? What did the nephrologist say? So I have to click on objective and then scroll all the way down to read the 3 lines. Why? And I learned this from one of my attendings when I was a resident. Back then it was a written triplicate form. I don't even know if some listeners even know what that is. It's like a form and then there are carbon copies behind it. And that would be the consult form. You'd go get it from the cubby next to the nurse's station. And the first page would be impression, recommendations, and then the rest of it would be the HPI and the past medical history and surgical history and the physical exam, review systems, all the stuff that was just billing. But he put his recommendations on the top, and I've never forgotten that. And that was what I did. And I learned from that teacher, and I've never forgotten it. It's a great thing. And now I do that now. I do an APSO note, AP. Here's my impression, or here's my assessment, and here's my plan right at the top. Common courtesy. No one cares what my HPI was or what my physical exam is. That's just billing. What matters is my medical decision making. It's what I think of going on and what I'm doing about it. And now the new billing rules, now the new documentation and billing rules, the new E&M rules are wanting us to focus on medical decision making. Just like Ron Hirsch said on LinkedIn, telling the story of what's happening with the patient and then what you're doing about it. They're encouraging that. No longer is dropping all the labs counting. It doesn't count anymore. Dropping all the imaging studies doesn't count anymore. You have to document that you looked at the imaging study and then you interpreted it independently. You have to document that you looked at the labs and that you interpreted them independently. You say the patient has anemia and the hemoglobin's 9.8. The patient has acute kidney injury. The BUN's 55 and the creatinine's 3.6. No longer does it count to just dump all the labs in and make your note 15 pages long that says nothing. So it's just amazing. We went full circle. We went from notes that are illegible and say nothing because the docs don't have the common courtesy to write legibly. Now we have legible notes that you can read that are 15 pages long and say nothing. And what's worse is the copy and paste. Man, as a physician advisor, I review charts, and I can't tell you how frustrating it is to read notes that are identical from day to day, that I can't tell where the new information is. And you cannot tell me that the patient is identical from day to day. The labs change. Even if it's stable, there's a confidence interval with how the machines do. So you can't tell me that it's the exact same from day to day. Or worse, you say patient's intubated and actually they were extubated 3 days ago. In a lawsuit, in litigation, that looks horrific. And you have no one to blame but yourself. I am able, by God's grace, to write a brand new, comprehensive, well thought out, narrative-based note in seconds, literally seconds. Maybe it takes me a little bit while to get maybe a few minutes maximum, without copying and pasting. And every day my note's different because every day something happens. Everything changes. It's not the same. I don't use the copy and paste function. So, it's just, we have to start. I mean, we keep complaining about burnout and we're forced to do all this administrative stuff. And that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong. At the same time, they've made the documentation rules simpler. There are tools such as AI ambient listening and AI scribes. I use the Doximities. It's fantastic. It's been a life changer for me. There are tools that EMRs have to help us become doctors again and to write down what we're thinking and then what we're doing about it without doing a stupid system-based note and not copying and pasting. And it's just amazing how we've come full circle, just like I said before, when you had notes that no one could read and say nothing, and now we have notes that everyone can read and say nothing. There has to be balance, and we have to start doing it the right way. Anyway, thanks guys for your time and attention, and we'll see you next time on Healthcare Musings. Thank you for listening. Sign up at healthcaremusings.com to get every episode delivered directly to your email. And please don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Thank you so much.